Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin.
Welcome to the Conversations with Eileen podcast. I'm your host, Eileen Guido. I'm a creative soul on a mission to motivate, connect, and build community. And I want to thank you for joining me on my quest of inspiring others, one conversation at a time. Remember, click subscribe. That way you never miss an episode. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Conversations with Eileen and on Twitter at Convos with Eileen. This way, you'll have updates, behind-the-scenes news, information on local and national events, volunteer opportunities, and more. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Eileen. I'm your host, Eileen Guido. I hope you all had a wonderful couple of weeks in between episodes, and if not, I hope things get a whole lot better. I'm so happy today I actually have a guest with me. She so graciously decided to join the podcast with me today. I am talking about none other than my baby girl, my youngest, Jesselyn. We're actually going to have a mom and daughter conversation today, so this should be great. Okay, so let's get started. Welcome, Mamita. Hi, Jesselyn. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mom?
I'm doing great. So we had been talking about joining together and coming on the podcast on an episode. We were trying to figure out topics about what we were going to discuss, and we've come up with so many. So this probably will be one of many, I hope. And Jessie, just say hi.
Hellos. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, excuse me, Missy Thing. Yeah, so today I asked her permission, and she said that we could discuss this topic, and I'm glad that she said yes, because I think a lot of people would find this not only interesting but informative and just give a personal side to a medical condition. What I am speaking of is chronic kidney disease. Jesselyn was diagnosed with IgA nephropathy back in 2018 after years and a couple of episodes of, infections and things like that, and then biopsies. But I'll let her get into that with you.
I don't really remember much back in 2018 because I was really drugged up most of the time.
And she means about the whole hospital experience. Let's just clear that up, okay?
When it started, like TMI, but my pee was really red because all the blood from my kidneys that it wasn't filtering. I was really tired. I wasn't really energetic at that age. Mom thought it was just me being just my iron's low and she's just tired. She probably didn't get enough sleep.
Right.
Testings go. They found out that something was wrong, but I don't really know what was.
Well, we went to the hospital because, like you were mentioning, again, if you're squeamish, then probably pause. Urine output was a little bit different. There were changes in it. It was really dark in color and, odd. She wasn't feeling well. We went to the emergency room, and with all the testing and lab work, they decided to keep her. Admit her, and we went through a couple of tests, blood draws, urinalysis, things like that, and her numbers were all over the place. Creatinine, BUN, GFR, all of those. It's GFR, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Sorry, I forgot my terminology there for a minute. So we were just trying to figure out what was wrong with you.
Yeah.
Mommy wanting to know, and the doctors and the nursing staff. And, we were there over that lovely Thanksgiving holiday, yeah. At the hospital.
That was great. That was awesome.
Yeah, she's being really sarcastic here, folks. The more that Jesselyn comes on the podcast, the more you'll get to know that side of her, and she gets it quite honestly because, hello, she's like her mom. but we went through a lot of testing, and then finally, well, you tell the story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, after the testing, for the nurses, so there's rounds where the doctors will come in and do the rounds of like introducing themselves and going over my labs and seeing what's wrong. And that's when I first met Dr. Patel, my nephrologist.
My gosh, she is wonderful. Shout out to Dr. Patel.
And he was going over my labs, and he was thinking it was the IgA nephropathy, right?
IgA nephropathy, yeah. But the reason we did find that out is because they took a biopsy.
Yeah.
Of her kidney tissue. Yeah.
That was not fun.
Yeah. Well, it was not fun for me either, but more not fun for you because you were going through it. The not fun part for me was, being a mom and worried about your kid because you don't want your kid to ever be sick.
Yeah. I lost a lot of blood too. With all the lab testing, they had to give me 2 rounds?
Well, it's not just because of that, but yeah,
and also
your iron was really low because, anemia and such, and so we had to have a blood transfusion, and then did we have iron infusions?
Yeah.
Also during that time?
And it was like my blood infusions and my iron infusions, they're really harsh on veins. My veins are really small, so it's really hard to find new veins for me. So I'll have probably I had 5 IVs in 2 weeks because my veins will blow out and my arm will be the size of Popeye, like the Popeye's arm. And I had to get a new site. They had to get an IV team to...
Yeah, we discovered your tiny little baby veins during this whole process, and mind you, no one really likes to get stuck, but this girl, it was, super traumatic. You're a little bit better at it now.
Yeah.
2 years later, but, yeah, they had to sometimes get the ultrasound team in to go ahead with their little vein finder and all of that for you. So
to look at my forearm or my leg, they're like, yeah, well, just if we don't find anything, we'll just do your leg. And I was like, no, that ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to find something in my arm, and then I'll cry because I'm very afraid of needles. But I've gotten better now. I trust people now doing it. It's not that great, but it's getting better.
Yeah. But through that time, and then they had the biopsy.
Yeah.
We got that, and then was that the time that they told us that in a couple of months' time that we were going to do the peritoneal dialysis? Or was that a year later?
It was another year later.
A year later.
A whole year later, because Dr. Patel had me on steroids.
That's right.
And
you see, we've been going through this so long. A lot of things are kind of blurry for me. I remember the big impactful things. The time frame for me, it just seemed like one big thing. For you, obviously, Jesse, it's more intense, and I guess your time point's a little bit more. But yeah, we went through the whole medication and diet changes and things like that for a whole year, hoping that
that
would get better at some point. But that didn't really happen through no fault of their own, because it is a condition, a disease that has a lot of changes in it. Oh, and by the way, I'll link the National Kidney Foundation link to the show notes. That way, if anyone's interested in learning more about this and how they can help, you'll have that information. Anyway, so we go through a year of doing our best. Numbers go up, numbers go down, things get better, things get worse, and finally it just finally it just came time to go ahead and place the catheter, the peritoneal
dialysis catheter, which, you know, we all knew would be better because then it could filter, do the work of her that her kidneys could not. But again, as a mom, you're constantly worried. You're kind of in that limbo state where you don't want your kid to be that sick, but you do know that they need this to get better. Mm-hmm. So, on your end, what was it like for you?
For when it got really bad, like I was just going through it because I was working full time and I was working on my relationship. You know, with my boyfriend, I was just trying to, you know, live my life as best as I could, and I was really tired, and my boyfriend could see that I was sleeping 13 hours a day. I'll get home, I wouldn't really eat, I'll eat a bite of something and go back to bed. I wasn't really coherent when he said stuff. I wasn't really there.
Yeah, and that's something with this condition, the nickname is called brain fog, because as the toxins build up in your system, it wreaks havoc on memory and a lot of things like that, and you become lethargic and all of that. But go ahead.
Yeah. And he was really worried, so I made a doctor's appointment with my nephrologist, Dr. Patel, and we went to see him. I did my little office visit, and he sat down, he looked at my labs, and he's like, okay, you're gonna need to go to the emergency room today. I'm gonna admit you today. And I was like, I was not with it. I was like, can I just take more medication? Like, I really don't want to go to the hospital, because I knew I was gonna be there for 2 weeks or longer, and I didn't like going to the hospital at all.
I remember.
And he's like, no, we cannot do that. You need to go to the hospital. We need to figure out what's wrong with you, because the toxins are building up too much and it's hurting you, and you need to go. And I was very sad that I had to go and kind of upset. So I got my stuff ready, and my boyfriend took me to the ER, and we went up, saw the nurses, they had my room done, and I was admitted into the hospital, and I was really upset. And then he called my mom. My mom came right through the hospital.
Of course, yeah.
And they just start doing labs right away to see what's wrong. And my levels were so bad. The toxins were getting so bad that I was just sleeping the whole time I was there. They didn't give me any medications for me to sleep or anything that made me feel drowsy. I was just out 24/7. So someone had to be there awake when doctors came in. Or if doctors did come in, I was really drowsy, wasn't really coherent. So I really needed my mom and my boyfriend to be there for me to figure out what the hell was going on with me.
Yeah. Daddy and siblings came to visit.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, your sister came up for a little bit. Also, I remember that. So yeah, it's a whole family affair, and you know, it's very important to have the family support or friend support throughout, you know, dealing with a disease, a condition like this, because you know it is very serious, and you know, you need dialysis. Quite frankly, when you're like this, you need dialysis to live, because your kidneys cannot function. So, yeah.
What else happened that day? I barely remember, so if you hear me saying a lot of times, it's just me recalling the memories that I barely have any. But I had Dr. Patel, and then I had my surgeon team come in, because after a few weeks there, like 2 weeks there? Or was it a week there?
I think this time it was a week, because we knew exactly what we were dealing with. Yeah, so they just had to monitor you in your labs, because like you said earlier, when Dr. Patel, you know, did call the hospital and had you as a direct admit, you know, we had to monitor you and see what was going on and get things under control before, the surgery. So your surgeon came in
Yeah, I know.
and spoke with us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know Dr. Patel because he knew that. Well, my voice cracked. Sorry. He knew that I really didn't want surgery. I really didn't want that.
I remember.
I was 18 at the time, so I was trying to work. I was trying to hustle my way.
No, wait. This was in 2019. You were already 19.
Oh yeah, I was 19. Holy
Mhm.
crap, I was 19. My bad. Not
It's
18.
okay.
And I really didn't want to have surgery, and so he was really trying to get my kidneys to flush out all the toxins, but that was not happening at all.
Yeah, because they switched your meds a lot to try and find something that worked for you. Like it would work for a while, and then your body was like, "No, I don't think so. Let's go change this up." Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
Lovely. Yeah, we're both being very sarcastic here. So then you had the surgery.
Yeah, I had the surgery. I woke up very groggy, and I thought I was blind for a bit.
Yeah, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this girl, when she comes out of anesthesia, is a trip and a half, okay? A lot of people get pukey or just really, really still groggy. Baby girl here cries and calls for mommy, which, hey, I'm okay with because I'm, be there by her side, every chance I get. So what she's talking about was a dry eye because of, the anesthesia and things like that. We did find out, not during this time, but when they did the biopsy, that she was allergic to medication, a certain medication. And yeah, that's just the things that you learn as you're going through this whole process.
Oh, that was terrible. My face was so swollen.
I remember. But yeah, then that was a whole new thing because they put the catheter in, and she didn't have dialysis right away, so they had to wait a few weeks before you started the actual dialysis. You had to go and learn about the machine and how to set everything up. And that appointment was like, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 weeks after the whole surgery. Yeah, so that was something else that we had to learn, and it just seemed like so much information. And I was so worried for you that, you would be overwhelmed or that I would be overwhelmed. But I have, background as a medical assistant, but still, when it's your child, it's a little bit different to try and compartmentalize everything, but it did pretty good. But it's just a lot coming at you all at once, knowing the gravity of the whole situation about you need to get this right in order to help you.
Yeah.
So how was that for you? That
for that is very kind of overwhelming for me because it's a complete 180 for a life change. Living a life without having to take meds every single day, or like going out late and just staying late. Like I couldn't do that anymore. Or it's very sparse to do that, because when they were training me, it was a 9-hour, like a 6-hour course.
Yeah, over a period of 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
So 12 hours in total.
And this was at the dialysis center.
Yeah.
And it's what you're doing is different. It's not hemodialysis. It's you were lucky enough, and the doctors were kind enough to say that they had a lot of faith in you and trust in you that you could handle doing this yourself. That way you can do it every night at home versus going into a dialysis center 3 times a week for, however many hours. It's an all day thing, because they wanted to give you as much or as close to a normal life, given your age.
Yeah.
And all that. So, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
So the course was like over 2 days.
Yeah.
About
And
6 hours each time.
Yeah, and they were teaching me sanitation, so I do not cross-contaminate or touch anything where I cannot touch because germs, and it'll cause me to have an infection, and that infection will spread and it will hurt.
Okay.
So they're teaching me safe precautions, how to connect myself, how to connect the saline bags into the machine. It was like 6 hours to for the dialysis to work. So it was like it will drain out what fluid was left, what saline fluid was left in my peritoneal area.
Right, peritoneal cavity, because that's where the catheter is. So, in essence, that machine is filtering and doing the job that her kidney should be doing, but is not. And, we were told could be genetic, nobody knows in our family history where or who or, not to blame or anything, but, just to find out, but at least now we know and moving forward, any future generations will be aware and know about, more of the symptoms and things like that. So it's very important to know your medical history, people, and to do things about it. But go ahead.
For when the 2 days were over, I had my own machine to go home with. Then they, before I had to call Baxter to get all my medical stuff from a different company, they gave me all my supplies at the dialysis center. So I had a week's worth of stuff to go home in, and I had to do it every single day. I could not miss a day because they'll be on my ass if I miss a day.
And more importantly than that, you need to filter out, all the toxins from your system. That's the point of it. So
yeah.
Not just that,
But
the machine keeps you alive.
yeah, essentially. What I used to do every day. And then I got back to work after a month or so.
Yeah, but when you're doing the machine and you're setting it up and putting all of that in there, explain to them, are those bags saline or is it medication or one and one?
I gotta remember if it was medication and one or so for my bags, there was either green or red or yellow, and red was the hardest saline that they have, which had the most sugar, and red was the most harshest to go in and out. They didn't really want that going through my system since it was really harsh on me, so it was either the yellow or the green, but we started on the green. And
she's saying yellow or green because they tape up the boxes with the color coding there.
Sorry. And each one has sugar and
glucose.
Yeah. So they started me on green. It was a medium level of saline with a little bit of medication in it because they didn't want any known infections to get in. So it was antibiotics in those saline bags. And so it was kind of not thick, but a thicker solution than the water solution that I used to have. So it felt weird going in and out of my body for a while.
What does that feel like? Does it feel just like
very
you're
full?
Like you're bloated? Like you?
Yeah. You get it's forcing your body to bloat.
Okay.
And it's a very weird sensation because it's.
Did it hurt at the beginning? Or?
It hurt in the beginning when I got out of surgery. It was very bloody when they drained it and filled it back up.
Yeah.
Because my body was just trauma. It was just trauma from my body just going through surgery. Then after a while, it didn't really hurt. It hurt when it drained all the fluid out and it got stuck on my intestinal wall, where I have to shift my body or massage my stomach for it to not connect.
Yeah, now mind you, she is hooked up to a machine and tubes every night, so she had to adjust how she sleeps, what side you sleep, and you have to be very careful that the tubing doesn't get kinked up. The alarms on the machine go off. I remember that scared the crap out of me.
Oh.
In the middle of the night thinking, oh my gosh, something's wrong, Yeah, so I mean, I'm just amazed at how you've done, and
Thanks, Mom.
as you're welcome. As an adult myself, I don't know if I would be as brave or as calm and accepting and go with the flow type thing. And I know you have days where you get frustrated and you're like,
Yeah.
Why do I have to have this body part that doesn't work? Like you always say. But yeah, you are incredible throughout this whole thing. And I'm just hoping that we can get to a point where, we are completely on that list for a new kidney and make that transplant happen. But go ahead with, your, let me go back. Sorry, I get ahead of myself. You're welcome, sweetheart.
I really appreciate it.
I love you.
I love you too.
Go back to you explaining about the how it felt in the beginning, where you feel bloated and it hurt a little bit because you've got all this fluid in your body now. I mean, because you've got the fluid going in to filter and clean you and rid of any possible infections, and then is there a second bag or just the same bag that drains back out? How is your machine working?
So, how I got a new machine. I have a new technology. I don't have the old dialysis machines, thank God, because they're more difficult than the ones I have. So at first I had to use 2 bags, saline bags, and that was 2,000 milliliters of liquid.
I don't remember, sweetheart.
I don't remember what amount. I think it's 2,000 milliliters in each bag. So it was 4,000 and 2,000 goes in my body. No, it's 200,000 per bag. Thank you. 2,000 goes in my body. Brain. And so at first it felt really weird because I'll eat my dinner and then I'll hook myself up to the machine and it'll drain out the liquid that I had the previous day or what was left in there until I'm completely dry, and that will hurt. So I'll be in kind of a little bit pain.
So was it draining too much?
No, it was just it drained all of it, but the UFR is at 0. So it's like they put it at 0 because they don't know what I'm getting in, or they'll put it at 500.
But there's a lot of tweaking that goes into it. That's why you have to weigh yourself and all of that. You have to put your weight in there because it has to determine how much goes in, how much comes out, and all of this, so that they get it just right, so that you're not pumped with too much fluid or extracted too much. Yeah, there's a lot of specifics that go into this, obviously.
Yeah. So when that happens, it's a little painful. Sometimes it's really painful. It will get stuck on my intestinal wall and I'll be in excruciating pain, and I'll just have to wait until it says slow flow patient line, and then it will hit after a while, like 2 minutes, it will hit to its fill. So 2,000 milliliters will go into my system and I'll start feeling the cool liquid coming in and I'll start to feel bloated. And at first it started to kind of hurt because I was so full. That felt really unnatural because I just ate food.
Yeah.
I'm already full and it's just adding on to what I just ate. So I felt extra heavy and bloated and I didn't feel really well.
So then you're feeling tired again and all of that?
Yeah. And it was like kind of difficult to sleep with like it just in there, like on my side or on my back. It was just really heavy on my chest. So I had to tell my dialysis people that how I was feeling so they can tweak it and put in less fluids where I don't feel like I can't breathe, or if it's too heavy,
Right.
or where I can't sleep throughout the night.
So every time you go back, they obviously check your iron, check, all blood draws and things like that, and then see what your numbers are according to a report that this machine generates.
Does every night, yeah.
Right. So now, are you still experiencing issues with feeling too full, or have they gotten that down better as far as, input and output for you? Does it feel a little bit better, or do you think do you just think that you're used to all the fluid in you now? I mean, I don't know.
Honestly, I just gotten used to it. Like over the whole entire year that I've been on dialysis now.
They're going on 2, actually.
Yeah, crazy. I just really gotten used to the feeling of feeling full. It'll kind of hurt sometimes, draining. I just can't be flat on my back when it does drain, or on my left side, because my tubing's more to the right of my stomach. So I usually have to lay on my right side or stand up. It kind of hurts sometimes. I just have to go through the pain.
Mommy doesn't like hearing that. I just feel so bad.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not
fun.
that bad. It's not that
Don't
bad.
sugarcoat it. I mean, it is
Okay,
serious.
it's bad, but I've just gotten used to it.
Right.
Where it'll pass. It'll pass soon, or like I just have to wait it out.
No, I know that you still feel like sluggish sometimes. Your energy level isn't what it used to be, and we'll always have to worry about, because in between, this time that you started with, from the biopsy to the surgery to put in the peritoneal catheter to now, we've had some episodes where you've had to go back to the doctor for, one reason or another, and that's always a scare.
Remember that.
And it's just hard for you.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm proud that you're doing the best that you can do given the circumstance, what have you learned throughout this process? About yourself, or just...
For this process is really hard to go through when you lived a normal life for a majority of your life where nothing was wrong with you, and then boom, like you have to have surgery. Okay, you're gonna have to do this, you're gonna have to follow these rules, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to take this, you have to take that. Like, people tell me 24/7 what to do. I didn't like that.
Oh, you were a teenager at the time. I mean, what teenager likes to be told what to do? But this was especially
hard.
It was especially hard and especially important because, you're changing your sleep cycle, your work, your diet, exercise routine, everything you knew about life just completely changed.
Yeah. It was really hard to actually be like, Jess, you have to do this, because at a certain point, depression hit, and teenage stuff where you don't know you're depressed, you're just I really don't want to go through this anymore, this shit sucks, I'm not gonna take my medication, I don't want to, I just want to live my life, I don't want to do dialysis every day, I have work in the morning, I can't stay on the machine for 9 hours, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to be there at 6, I have work, I can't do that every day, and I'll miss days, and I'll feel tired, I'll feel sluggish, but I was okay, I'm just gonna live my life, I really have to, I really don't want to go through
There
this.
was a lot of back and forth and fight, because even though you knew it was very important, there was a lot of growing up to do, throughout this process, and we had to reiterate how important this was to, do your dialysis on time and take your medications the way you're supposed to, and there was a lot of back and forth about that. but I've seen you come into your own and you've realized how important this is, because essentially right now this machine is saving your life.
Yeah. It was just really hard for me to like realize that, because I really didn't want to change my life how it was.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was just like, okay, I need to work. Even when my work was clashing with my doctor's appointments, it was very hard for me to like schedule that in time where like my work schedule and my doctor's appointments wouldn't match up. But some days my work would be like, this is unacceptable. You can't be leaving work and then coming back. Like, we need you here. We scheduled you to stay up. I was like, look, I need to go back to a doctor's appointment. I need to go back to the Dallas Center because I have to do labs and they have to see how I'm doing. And I was very, very frustrated on my part on balancing work and my life, of having dialysis every day and going to doctor's appointments every single week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like every month, it was every single week. Like, I was there twice a week or 3 times a week, and I was working 6 days a week. And
I hated that. And I understand that you wanted to work because, you know, we raised you to be productive and, you know, fend for yourself and, you know, just learn and, you know, be a quote-unquote normal person. And with this disease, it was kind of putting a monkey wrench in your normal everyday activities and your schedule, and you were just so drained, you know, day after day. And it's just, you know, came to the realization that you couldn't work all those hours.
Yeah, because I was working, 10 to 11 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I was pushing like double shifts sometimes.
Which caused you to, you know, be sicker and more immunocompromised and wind up in the hospital more often. You know, but these are lessons learned.
Yeah. Had to quit that job eventually and focus more on myself and the dialysis, which kind of sucked for me because I really liked working. I really liked the people there. I don't like the managers, but I liked working because that gave me a purpose of what I'm achieving to do in my life. Like, I'm working for something in the future. I don't know what it was going to be, but I was working towards something.
Right.
I was always doing something. Now I'm focusing on going to doctor's appointments and doing my dialysis every day, making sure I have enough time to do everything. And now my schedule's free to do what I want, like to go on vacations or go to the beach.
Yeah, and that's that. Yeah, because there are certain things, restrictions.
Yeah.
Certain places, certain things you can't do. Public pools anymore, or what's those called? Theme parks, water parks. You know, that kind of thing, because no matter how quote-unquote clean they keep it, you know, you run the risk of infections. Now, they did let you go to the beach because it can't submerge it. You can take showers and things like normal, but in like public places and spaces and things like that, you run the risk of infections, no matter how careful you are. So those are kind of things, because you love all that stuff, and that was a big thing for you.
Yeah, like I'm just grateful that I went to Volcano Bay before I had my surgery, at least once.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't and I had my surgery and I found out that I couldn't go in public places where, you know, it's like a whole whirlpool of, like, you know, thousands of people going in and out of the water, peeing, like, you know. So that would break my heart that, like, you know, I found out that I couldn't go to water parks anymore or, like, public pools. for like the beach, it's the same thing. Like with the water, there's bacteria. So if I do go in that water, if I get out, I need to clean my site right away.
Wow.
Like I have to disinfect it, I have to clean it, I have to make sure it's dry, I have to put ointment on it, antibacterial.
So
clean.
yeah, it's still a whole process. So.
Yeah, it's a whole process. When I first found out, I was like, okay, let me just call them. I went in the water once and I did all that, and I was like, this is too much work. It's sandy, it's windy, it's not a great place to, clean.
Yeah.
So I just stopped going in the water. Like I'll just go where my ankles will be and just like chill out there. But I can't go directly in.
Yeah, so I mean, after your kidney transplant, and we are putting that out into the universe, God's hands, we will get on the list, and we will get a kidney at some point, and you will be well, and you will not reject the kidney. At some point when that happens, not if, when that happens. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get a whole new set of instructions, and now you're gonna be taking at that point anti-rejection meds and things like that, and a whole new set of do's and don'ts. But probably more do's, hopefully, than don'ts. But we're just hoping and praying that we get to that stage sooner rather than later. So I mean, your day to day now. I mean, what's like for you?
It's pretty chill. Like I get on every day because I kind of have to. It's pretty chill because COVID and everything. I don't really see people.
Yeah, that was a whole. Wow, yeah, we didn't even mention that throughout that whole thing with COVID, especially in the beginning. With you being immunocompromised, that was, I mean, normally we clean everything here and are super careful, but I think you were laughing at me because I went into like germ killing overload. I think that if I could have put you in a bubble from the beginning of COVID, even a little bit until now, I would have been like, stay away from my baby. So yeah, that has been, but you've been really good about that in being very responsible as far as all that. So
because COVID happened in January, with March. It really happened in Florida in March.
Yeah, Florida in March, but it's been going on since before then. But
because when that happened, it was crazy.
Thank you, 2020.
I was like, damn, high risk. Like I could die. Like it was.
Really, don't say those words ever to me in this.
No, it's just like
I know, but don't ever say those words ever.
I'm fine, Mom. I'm fine. But really, it was just very like
better.
Yeah, I was very cautious, and I couldn't really leave the house, or we'll get groceries to go or pick up groceries. So like we'll get us for us in Target.
I know, I remember
in the beginning. But now it's pretty chill. Like everything's fine.
But you're still taking precautions, obviously. Mm-hmm.
Still wearing masks everywhere I go. Hand sanitize my hands after I touch stuff. Just making sure like everything's okay.
Yeah.
Now,
do you feel that you're better because of, obviously doing better a little bit because of the dialysis, but this last round of changes in medications and the fact that you're getting better at being more compliant with stuff, do you how do you feel now versus when you first started with all of this?
I've gotten a lot better. I'm doing it a lot more every day because I used to not do it every day.
Yes, I know, and that used to drive me crazy. Because I could no longer, make you do it. Yeah, at any point in time, you could apologize for the fights that we got into over that in the beginning.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I kind of forgive you.
No, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I can only be honest with you. I love you.
Oh.
But I'm glad that you're a whole lot better at doing that.
Yeah.
And so now we're at the point of more lab work and then other doctor's appointments. And hopefully we'll be on that transplant list soon. And we'll start a whole different part of this journey.
Yeah. That'll be a lot different. I'm kind of scared. It's like I
can understand that.
It's like it's not really like bad. Like I don't want to have a new kidney or like I don't really want it. It's just like it's a huge change and it's like another 2 surgeries I'm having. It's like okay, this is
because the one is to remove the catheter.
And
the next is for
to
implant the kidney. Yeah, transplant the kidney.
Which is gonna be a lot for my body to go through, and I'm not really mentally ready to go through that. Like I just have to mentally prepare myself for
which is understandable, and just keep going to therapy and. That way you get the support there. And of course, you always have that with your family.
Yeah.
And especially mama. But nobody understands what you're going through except you. We can be here to support you. And that's what we're going to do. But yeah, it's got to be something that's tough, but you're tougher.
Thanks, Mom. Like, what about you, Mom? How do you feel about the whole thing, my whole process of?
From the beginning, I, of course, felt bad because you never want your kids to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
But then, and not to make it about me, but I felt like, oh my gosh, did I do enough? Did I pay attention enough? Why her? Why not me? And you just go through all of that, and then because it's new, you get scared. You're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get my baby through this? How we need to, do everything we can to make her better right away. And I know there's no right away when it comes to this, but, I have faith that you're going to get better, but I'm not going to lie, I still worry. And I worry about, germs, or if you get snagged on something and pull your, catheter, or if you sleep the wrong way, and it's a lot. But I have to remember that anything that I'm going through, you're going through it even more. Mm-hmm. And I just look to you and I see how brave you are through all this. Even when you have doubts, even when you reach the point of where I'm so sick of this, I can't stand this, you still pull through all the time because it's important, and that drive that you have to get better, and you're so much better at following doctor's orders, not 100% because we're all human, you have your days, but you know how important this is. But it is, as a parent, it is extremely hard to see your kids struggle and suffer through anything.
Yeah. Because for that, I think I really owe it to you guys for having my back through stuff.
Oh,
honestly, it was very difficult for me, and you're saying I'm so strong. It's I kind of had to really live for something, because I didn't want you guys to be sad, if something does happen to me, or
that's not happening.
I never wanted that for you guys, because we both felt losing someone close to us, and I really don't want you guys to go through that again.
Right, which is why you're doing so much better.
Yeah.
And
I don't
it's
want
not
you
just
to go
for
through
us.
that.
Yeah.
I really don't want anyone to go through that pain again. even with my siblings, like, I really, like, had to, like, think, like, I still have my siblings with me, like, I still have to have time with them, like, I still have to, like, you know, live to be with them. Like, if I'm giving up now, like, I'm not gonna have that much time with them, and they're just gonna be heartbroken. And, like, I didn't want to put you guys through that heartbreak, you know? I really felt bad for, like, you know, losing it at that age and then coming back. But yeah, I'm back. You know?
I know, it takes a lot, you know? It can't be easy. It can't be easy, but I just hope and pray that you, and I say stay strong, but you know, when I say that, I don't mean to diminish any doubts or tiredness that you have through this, because I feel that it's, you know, you're gonna go through these cycles as you continue, you know, through this, you know, just as anyone would. And you know, when you feel upset or you're in pain or you just think, I can't do this anymore, I'm tired, you open up and you come to someone, me, daddy, your boyfriend, your siblings, your doctors, therapists, whatever it is, to give you tools to cope until we can get that kidney for you.
Yeah. Stop.
Oh, we've got dogs in the background. Sorry, guys.
This is crazy.
She's just talking about her dog barking in the background. Sorry about that, guys. We're home, and you know, of course, I don't have a professional studio, so you get what you get, and you can't be upset, right? But you do the best you can. Well, I guess that's kind of the point here of this whole thing. You do the best you can.
Yeah.
Right now.
And thank you for you, Mom. Thank you for helping me.
Well, of course, I'm your mama. I'm your mama. Of course.
Well, you know what I mean. Just like being there. Like, you know, as a person and as a mom. You know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you, Pumpkin.
I love you too, Mom.
Alrighty, guys. I think that is all we've got for today. If you've got questions, of course, you can DM me on Insta or send me a message through Facebook. Thank you, Jessie, for being with me today and opening up and having a discussion. I mean, it's you're a big girl now. You're an adult. So it's nice seeing you grow into a young woman and not only be my daughter, but be a friend and someone I like to be with.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Of course. Yeah, so again, that's it for us today. And I want to thank you for joining me on my quest of inspiring others, one conversation at a time. Take care, guys.
If you found value in today's message, feel free to share my podcast. You can also take a screenshot, tag me at Conversations with Eileen, and share on your social media. Just a reminder, this is a listener-supported podcast. Any donations are greatly appreciated and help make a positive impact in our community.